Last Thursday, we took an L, but guess who's back again? We'll go through all that right after this.
Get ready, Chiefs Kingdom, to unleash your passion and excitement for all Chiefs content. With the up-and-coming sports media company giving you all of the Chiefs coverage. We are raising the decibels and embracing the community of Chiefs Kingdom. Elevate your fandom and join our team who loves your team. Red Kingdom Media.
Welcome, everybody, to the Home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are our home. I'm Clinton. Here with me, as always, is my Shannon native. What's up,
Love it.
All right. Well, it's a little somber of a beginning show, as this is the first time we're gathering back after a terribly heartbreaking loss with a lot of weird stuff to think about before and after the fact. So we'll get right into that, but first, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you follow and subscribe wherever you're listening. And also like, comment, and share us to spread the word and interact and show us your love. So, with that being said, Thursday was a thing.
It was something. I mean, I wasn't really expecting much, but I at least expected them to win.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect them to just not, just not try at the end, I guess.
Right.
But that's kind of my thinking, is it's just what it is. And we had both our guys gone, but they're back.
Yep. We'll get into that here in a bit. But yeah, I can't say it. It didn't feel like a little weird prior to Thursday itself.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but like the not having two pillars of your team, like abruptly not being there, felt a little strange.
Yeah.
So it was like, I guess it took me out of it a little bit, and I didn't really feel a part of it again until after we were in our seats and things were starting.
True.
Like the parking lot seemed like a Detroit haven, and then inside for the first hour and a half
It was like Detroit haven in there. They were all like just taking over. Pre-game. It was insane.
It's like they were ready for the upset to happen before it was even a for sure thing. So yeah, that was my perspective, is like happy to be there, but still riding the aura of the Super Bowl and knowing the team isn't, quote, complete at this beginning point.
Yeah.
So I did my best to like get into it, but it didn't happen until we saw the banner drop and the game was starting and we were back into it.
Yeah, the banner drop was cool. I really liked that ceremony. That was really neat. They honored Norma Hunt there too as well beforehand. That was really cool to see that in the celebration. But I think they basically said all the guys are ready to move on, and at that point they're just ready to play the game, and I don't think they were ready for that game.
Well, yeah, and one nugget is the teams weren't even out on the field to watch that and celebrate that. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mahomes said that right after the game. He was in the locker room preparing for the season. So
yeah,
maybe fans and maybe some of the new players on the team, or like a lot of the skill position players, were still feeling the Super Bowl hangover a bit, and did maybe that or may not that have had an effect on their abilities.
Yeah,
I don't know. But like as a fan, I can say that I was still feeling that. And with Chris Jones up in the booth in his really expensive suite that he pays for, I think that probably just added to the weirdness.
Yeah, that was strange.
And then Travis Kelce was on the sidelines cheering, and he looked like he was ready to run on the field and go in and play himself. He was probably more upset, at himself more than the team, and saying, "God darn it, I got hurt." Like essentially a Friday of a Sunday game where you practice the entire week of whatever the plan is, and then that last day, your key to all your plans gets questioned.
It's basically,
you
it's
have
like
to just
wiped clean, and you have to basically start a new playbook and everything.
It's like you try to keep the plan you already made and try to fill it in with who you have, and realize that it's not
going to be the same.
Not the comparison.
Yeah. And we didn't know, as fans, we didn't know that Kelce was out until the very, we were in the parking lot already, and then they announced it. Like, it was the very last minute. It was a very last minute call.
Yeah, I think right after Tuesday, it seemed like, oh no, this is the worst case. It's definitely severe injury. And then by that Thursday afternoon, we were thinking, oh, well, I think he's definitely playing by this point.
Yeah.
And Clark Hunt had said he would, that he knew that Travis would be fighting to get on the field. So I thought that was pretty much subliminal message saying he's playing. So then it was a big downer to see he wasn't. And I think maybe blind confidence of feeling that we were already the world champions from last year, that it's fine. We can withdo. We can withhold, and we can survive this and still come out victorious. And if things hadn't, gone the way they did, they probably did.
Yeah.
But, hindsight. So we can say with how things turned out, they definitely missed Travis Kelce more than Chris Jones.
Yeah.
For sure. Just in the way that the offense has always been, Travis Kelce is the centerpiece. And, to an extent, Chris Jones is the centerpiece of the defense.
Yeah.
But you have more bodies of guys like a Chris Jones at that in that area.
They could fill in and kind of do what he does.
The same positions. Whereas nobody can truly replicate what Travis Kelce does. And the security blanket that he is for Patrick.
Yeah. Then that was evident, especially the first quarter, and I was like, oh man, what's happening? And then after halftime, it was like, oh man, maybe they can do it, but no, not at all.
Yeah, it just seemed like
it kind of just fizzled out.
Yeah, so it didn't really seem like we were in trouble until after halftime had progressed. Because the beginning of the game starts where Detroit goes for a fake punt on their own side of the field, where we're that close to stopping them and literally getting the ball in the red zone immediately. That would have just broken the entire game.
Yeah.
So they learn that, which I'm surprised they haven't already learned this already, that teams are willing to sell out everything to beat you. And the Jaguars, who we'll talk about here a little later, are no exception to that. Dougie P goes for it in the weirdest times, goes for two. He was that guy ahead of the curve. So, that's going to be tough. It's
going to be interesting. It's going to be really hard for them.
So halftime comes and it's about even, but you were waiting to see something firing right after that, and nothing did. So the momentum definitely started switching to the Lions' favor.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time they took the lead, you just felt like, oh no,
I know,
we're in trouble.
And then you hear the Lions fans around you, and you're like, oh my goodness, it was crazy.
So, and like there's that conversation, why did they go for it on offense, 4th and 25 instead of punting? And my thought is, they weren't going to stop Detroit running the ball.
Yeah.
That was the one thing they were doing consistently the whole game. They were going to be able to pick up any first down they needed, just running the ball, which kills the clock and ends the game for them. So they had no other choice to do that. The false start to make it even further. Fourth down conversion was tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pat threw it a little far, but it still hit Sky in the hands. So it's tough because you're like, they still almost got it.
They almost had like a lot of their passes, and they just dropped a lot of them.
I mean, that's football for you.
Yeah.
You could look at the entire script of all the plays that occurred, and you say, if I swap this one, what's the final score look like? If I swap this one, if I swap this and this and this,
yeah,
what does it look like? If the Chiefs score early and they stopped them on their own side of the field and go up 7-0, it's only been 3 minutes of the game and Detroit's like playing behind. Is it a completely different game? Who knows? Yeah. But they were delivering the punches the same way the Chiefs were. So Detroit is a real blue-collar team, and where they end up, who knows? But they're fighters, and that maybe Andy Reid sort of struggles against that. And at a time where he maybe should have relied on running the ball, he didn't choose to do so.
Yeah, I feel like he should have run the ball a lot more than he did.
And Pacheco was just making his return, but they should have relied on that heavy when they knew it wasn't working. So maybe that right there is kind of the difference between Eric Bieniemy and Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
Where Eric Bieniemy might be hollering, saying, "Hey, no, we're gonna run the ball.
We're gonna run it."
If in the Super Bowl, is Matt Nagy gonna stomp his foot to Andy Reid and tell him we need to run the ball here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
Eric Bieniemy seemed like the type who was at least trying to get his influence in there in some way. So, that's something to look at going forward. And before we transition officially away from that, and since we weren't able to actually, listen to the game broadcast and stuff like that because we're actually in the stadium, a lot of flack was going on about the false starting and illegal formations that weren't, and then at the very end of the game started being called.
Yeah.
And the NFL now like really reacting to that and saying they're going to crack down on it. So
on their feet moving.
You're jumping right at the exact same time, and people are freaking out. It's a thing that's been around forever. And they're still trying to make a big deal out of it. And it's only now because the Chiefs player was doing it when the same guy was doing it for years. Did it in January within the playoff game, the one that the Jags won against the Chargers, where Joey Bosa was complaining going against Jawan Taylor the whole time, saying to the ref, he's offside, or he's in illegal formation, he's jumping offside, he's false starting, whatever. So it didn't work then, and now people are like, oh, what the heck? It's time for it to be, messed with now because a Chiefs player was doing really well with it. I mean, the other guy in the Super Bowl last year is that same player too, and there was no, flack about that.
Yeah. Yeah, did they just not see it, or are they just ignoring it?
I have to confirm what their stats were. The Eagles, as of recording this Thursday night, but I don't think he was heavily penalized or messed with.
Mm-hmm.
There were some talks maybe he looked like he was going slower, so maybe there was some fear of it.
Yeah,
but we'll have to see. That could be something to watch if Jawan Taylor's biggest strength gets taken away.
true.
This ability to jump really early,
Yeah,
as soon as possible, and be just the right amount of lined up without being illegal.
mm-hmm.
And see if that becomes more of a talking point, or if a change gets made, if that starts to look like an issue that the Chiefs have.
True.
Because a lot of the rankings and stuff said that the O-line played bad, and you and I watching from the stands, it looked like he pretty much Patrick Mahomes had as much time to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And he either couldn't find somebody to throw it to, didn't like who he threw it to. He threw it to people and they didn't catch it. Sometimes they did catch it, or he ran off some points.
Yeah.
But there was no oh no, he's legitimately in trouble and can't get a throw off.
True. Yeah, there wasn't.
He still found a way out of it.
He found a way.
So, it was weird to see it talked about like they were bad.
Mm-hmm.
When watching. I'm like, he's got all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, he can make a cup of coffee back there and then find a guy. So just got to waste a little more time. So Andy Reid hopefully went back to the lab and make sure he wrote up some plays where it's like certain timing. You wait this amount of seconds. They're called drop back. So how many steps do you take when you get the snap? And that tells you when to let go and who you're throwing it to and stuff. So we'll see if that gets any better. But to transition, we got him back. I created a monster, Slim Shady. Guess who's back?
Guess who's back?
We got Stone Cold Chris Jones and Travis Swifty Kelce.
Oh my gosh!
So the boys are back in town. They're here to wreak hell on whoever lies in front of them.
They need to.
So, I don't think we should go into the Chris Jones money talk, because that's not what's important. He's back on the team, and for this year, that's what matters the most.
Yeah, to basically everyone and the fans really only care about that.
Yeah, he seems like they seem in a great mood. If Chris is upset by any of this, he's not showing it, and that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
So
it's like it's done. It's
good to have our focal point to the defense back in the spot to let him be the star. And there's two guards for the Jaguars who were injured last week who are playing but on injury. So going up against some injured offensive guards might be a great start to Chris Jones' 2023 season.
True.
And as Mr. Dale would say, he thinks he's going for 22 and a half sacks. Chris Jones is going to break the record. He's definitely going to do it. So.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's going to do it.
Yeah. And Dale's saying that after the loss, he'll make sure going forward nothing will hold him back. He would rather lose than losing off the field. That applies to both of those guys, really.
Yeah.
They are both competitors, and they don't want to lose, period. And we had watched that NFL series about the 23 Super Bowl season, and it focused on Chris and Travis and Patrick and their voiceovers and stuff.
It was cool.
And it sticks with me because there was that part where Chris Jones says, like in 21, it really bothered him, that sack on. Joe Burrow, he didn't get.
He didn't get
was
it.
Really going to make sure he got it this time. So I love how motivated those guys are, and maybe their methods get questioned, or their smarts, or
their execution sometimes.
Something about it, can make people divert themselves from it. But like when you know that they always have good intentions, and you like recognize that, then you can appreciate what they give in their like states of mind and like that. Instead of like saying crazy, it's like find that thing that they do and use it.
Yeah, they use it for good.
Because they have good energy, and like teams need good energy. I don't think
they have to have good energy.
I don't think there was like bad energy last week before the game, but I definitely think there's good energy going into this week.
Yeah.
Which is
there was kind of like no energy last week. It was kind of just like dead, flatline.
Yes, it felt very dead. It felt as if, again, we're just still celebrating the year before.
Yeah, it felt like a preseason game. Like that was the last preseason game, but I know it wasn't. But that's what it felt like.
Yep, the Chiefs. Yeah, they started with an unofficial loss for some reason, and now the rest of the season began. That's how the rest of us can think about it.
Yeah.
As long as the season ends how we'd all like it to. But
yeah, as long as we end up back in the Super Bowl.
But if we don't, I don't want to say there's blame going around, but the good thing. So none of that really matters, because what we saw on Sunday watching seemed pretty good. For the ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's some bad plays.
Burrow looked shut down for whatever reason. Josh Allen was making a lot of mistakes, like he was in his rookie years. Justin Herbert played a pretty decent game, but Tua and Tyreek wanted to set some record books on fire.
Yeah, they were really the talk of like everything.
Cleveland dominated Cincinnati in their matchup. Baltimore wins against Houston, but they lose a bunch of key players for them for short and long-term injuries.
Yeah, there were a lot
The
of
Jets
injuries.
Don't even have to go there.
Yeah.
So Pittsburgh didn't look all that great. Raiders and Broncos beat each other up with subpar football.
Yeah, and their results didn't show it.
So it was an okay. We were like, crap, we're down one loss already, and Chris Jones isn't here. We'll never make it up. And then after Sunday and Monday, it was, okay, the teams you would have thought would be just already number one seed locked in because they're winning all these games, got that loss in the same week that we did, and we get Chris Jones back, and we get Travis Kelce back.
Yeah, so our team is basically back to normal.
Just
got to see them play and watch them execute.
And it becomes
things.
oh no, the Raiders are in first place, but
that won't last long.
Correct. They're gonna make mistakes, and we're gonna get our shots at them. That'll get resolved. The Broncos are same team, different.
The Broncos are the Broncos.
And the Chargers are going to put up fights. So I think it's the same.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much.
If you go to the playoffs, 6 months from right now, whenever it is, I would have said the same teams are probably in the playoffs again, except in a different order. Like maybe Buffalo barely gets in because Miami held on.
Yeah, I could see Miami.
Baltimore maybe barely makes it. Or the Jaguars are still the division leaders. That they still look like the best out of that situation. Although the two rookies look good. Anthony Richardson looks a little better coming out the gate, but we'll see how they how they perform later. And then, Justin Fields we have coming up next week here, hosting an Arrowhead.
Yeah.
3:25, that kickoff.
Yeah.
So, we'll have one more episode prior to that. But yeah, I would have said the same teams probably make the playoffs. If Baltimore and Lamar Jackson can stay healthy, maybe they're the other team that gets in now instead. Maybe Cleveland gets to be a host and they make Cincy a road team in the playoffs.
That would be interesting.
So we'll just have to see how the rest of the teams adjust. Here, the sentiment is that, we're going to adjust, no problem. We're ready to bounce back because it wasn't even like you couldn't imagine something worse.
Yeah.
If you could say like the worst situations that could occur in the Chiefs opening night game 3 months ago, what would be the worst case scenario? Well, Chris Jones isn't playing, Travis Kelce isn't playing, and the rest of the receivers are all dropping passes, and one of them goes for the defense instead. Boom. And you would have said, all right, that you're saying that's like the worst, that's ultra worst, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
So now, you can imagine the worst, and it can't get worse than that. It really can't. It can't be that extreme.
Yeah, it's only up from here. They're gonna continue going up anyway. It's the first game of the season, and they're already done thinking about it.
So, as you alluded, this is the next game is a nooner. So it's Sunday, 12 o'clock Arrowhead time. I think the only, if I'm not mistaken, the only noon game, except maybe around Christmas time. Except maybe around Christmas time is another one. But yes, the rest of the time, the Chiefs are playing at 3 o'clock or at 7, the showtime team.
Makes sense.
So, that being said, we went from last week, Thursday, to a few days from now, Sunday, 10-day gap. How is that different? How is that process for you?
It's weird. It feels like really long time between, because they I want to see them play with all the whole team now, and I'm just anticipating that, and I think that's what's making it drag on longer. But I feel like it's just that time gap is just very painful.
Right. And seeing these other games that didn't look as well as advertised on Sunday.
I feel like it's a little boring not being able to see them play against another team. And
you went after Thursday thinking oh man, my team looked bad. And then you watched the rest of the NFL and you thought, okay, well,
we don't look that bad.
They all look bad.
Yeah. In comparison,
we've just gotten spoiled because Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have started and lighted up first games all season long.
Yeah.
But they also had their full game plan, their full rosters, and no injuries. And that wasn't the case this time. So you can't always be Superman. Sometimes we got to have some old reliables that, there's no frills. It's no funny business. It just works.
Yeah.
Handing it off to Pacheco. He picks up a first down. We need that to just work.
Yeah.
Prove that we can do that and then lull them to sleep until they forget that that's Patrick Mahomes and then throw it over their heads.
Yeah, I know.
They're not ready for it.
Yeah. Sneak attack them.
So, yeah, you reacted only one or one of a few noon games. What's your opinion on a noon game?
I like noon games.
So are you upset that now the Chiefs have been good and therefore aren't put in that early slot most of the time and they're either the highlight one, or the CBS wants to highlight it, so they get that special.
The 7 o'clock.
The 3 o'clock or the 7 o'clock.
I'm not like upset about it, but I would rather like if it's at home and if it's a 7 o'clock game, I'm gonna be like cheering and not really caring how late it is because I have like that adrenaline. But if it's an away game and I'm just laying on my couch in bed, just kind of like cozied up, it's gonna be hard for me not to fall asleep.
For a late night game?
Yeah, for like the 7 o'clock games. The 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock I like more because it's just, you get a, like, it's kind of less of a build up. So you kind of just get to like go into it right away after you wake up. So you get your coffee and then you get like a little breakfast or whatever. And then boom, it's lunchtime. And then you get to eat your lunch and watch them at the same time. I like that.
Okay, so just stupid question. So, what do you prefer if it's a win? What time slot did it begin? And if it's a loss, what would you prefer that time slot be in?
If it's a loss, I would probably say I want that to be earlier, maybe. No, because like the last loss was that one, like a week. Was it a week ago? It was a week ago. Yeah, it was a week ago. That one, it was hard for me to fall asleep afterwards because I was just kind of like stunned and shocked, and I was in shock. So I think after a win, I can wind down easier because I'm already kind of like tired and I've already like got all my adrenaline out and stuff. And
so, yeah, you're not like me where you still have adrenaline after a win because you want to just bask in the victory. You're more like oh, thank goodness it's finally over.
Yes.
Let me celebrate for a bit and then, oh, look at the time. I have no more energy.
Yeah.
So then if it's a loss, you're saying that you'd rather it be earlier in the afternoon so you could have at least tried to distract yourself. I don't know. I'm kind of.
I think you're probably the opposite of me.
Yeah,
like you said.
Yeah, if they lost early, then I would have like the entire day
to think about it. That's true.
Like the future matchup in Miami versus the Dolphins in Germany at the 8:30 kickoff time here. That would be like a conclusion of 11:30. So it's like not even waiting until 3 to know the outcome of the game. It's like right there at 12 o'clock.
You have to get like a breakfast pizza or something.
No, just pretend you're in Arrowhead. You're still tailgating. You got your barbecue racks out.
6 a.m.
Who cares? Eat your ribs at 7:30 a.m.
Hot chicken wings at 9 a.m.
And throw in a beer. They're in Germany after all.
Yeah.
It's only fitting.
Yeah, true.
Eat a bratwurst and a Budweiser. Or whatever.
Oh man, beer. I want a bratwurst from that one place. I definitely want to get that at some point, but they're so expensive.
It always seems expensive.
I feel like some things are worth it though, because like the barbecue sandwiches, like they're like 15 to 20 for like a barbecue sandwich. I feel like that's like worth it. A pizza for $15 to $24, and it's just a one serving dish pizza. That's
I would love to see a game in Atlanta because they supposedly have one of the best like concessions for fans out of all the stadiums.
You were saying that.
And supposedly the Washington Commanders owner also made like some sort of proclamation like that, like trying to make some of the concessions cheaper.
Dang.
So I would like the word to be spread about that because I don't think everything needs to be $20.
No, not everything.
For a single person.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, like a pizza should not be $15 to $24 for one of the personal pan pizzas that you can get at another place for like what, $5?
And yeah, it
Outside
makes
the
it
stadium.
impossible to have like a group, or especially young children, that you can reliably feed with everything.
Well, yeah, and then the chicken tenders are expensive. The spicy chicken, the fries are expensive. It's just the fries are good though.
I'm not clowning on most of the food.
No, the food is delish, but
We're just saying we
it's
have to
just-
prepare to buy.
oh man, that mac and cheese, the barbecue mac and cheese. Oh, I want that.
Now you're just talking about food.
I know.
So you're talking about food because you're like, oh man,
Hey.
Sunday is a nooner, so
Hey,
I have to
yeah.
plan my
Exactly.
meal accordingly.
Mhm,
You're
I'm
like, it always coincides with, and this has been the case for us for a while. Where a noon game is like, we have to have food prepared right there at 12
we have to have
o'clock
12 o'clock food
to have it with the kickoff. So at the stadium, we're like, no food ever around us when game is occurring or like about to occur in any way. So it's just funny that like house is completely different.
Yeah, we flip and we're like, oh, we have all of the snacks. We have unlimited snacks.
So final question, since we can now be able to compare it. Is it easier waiting for a game for, however many length of time? I know it's Thursday versus Sunday, so it's not really comparison sake, but for the sake of argument,
hypothetically,
is it easier to wait for the actual game to be in progression when it's like game day, go to the stadium, prepare, and then the game starts and it's a really long time and then it begins? Or do you feel like it's more of, more enjoyable to, it's on it, they're away, so it have to be TV. The length of time when they play is still the same, so it's like I have to waste, in your argument, like you waste all day for a Sunday night to go to Arrowhead, or waste all day for a Sunday night
all day for
to watch it on your couch and or lurk into the bedroom because you're too sleepy.
Yeah. It's probably easier to like wait for it there if it's an evening game, because it's like all the festivities, you can walk around, do whatever. It keeps you awake. Yeah. All the loud music and stuff, and the fireworks when they announce the 90 minutes and stuff like that. And then like we don't really tailgate, but if we tailgated, that would be a lot of fun. Like doing that and being in that environment. We need to really walk around. We've been talking about it. Walk around.
Yeah.
It's just kind of be like
chilling
with people.
I think we're gonna try to be doing that sometime next month.
That would be fun.
Because we got our situation. We need to showcase some of it in the next episode after that, where we showcase what the season ticket member countdown tent inside Arrowhead Stadium
Yeah. That is so fun.
What that access is like for
so
those who might not already know what it's like. Bring them into that
good
world.
Food.
Some fun festivities, some beverages of all kinds.
Yeah, they have a lot of drinks. Last year we got to see the cheerleaders. They are usually there.
So, and then I think they also can do it during the playoffs too. So
yeah, you can. Yeah.
So I think we did it for that. For the championship game.
The championship. Yep.
That was really cool to have that opportunity during the playoffs as well. To be like, oh, good, I don't have to worry about feeding us all. We got, eat the food that's here, and can bring some stuff back, because we knew that we were going to be very worked up one way or the other. So the extra food that we got from there.
Yeah, they give you like chips and stuff.
Very needed that time.
It's good. Tailgating, it's fun. But yeah, I feel like waiting there is way more fun than just kind of waiting around at the house, because at the house I have to figure out what to do. I'm usually doing chores, trying to just wait.
Right, you're like, I have all this energy and I don't know what to do with it.
That's me.
You think it's more chaotic when it's within these walls versus like
Yeah, I feel like it's more nerve-wracking. Like I get more nervous to watch the game if I'm here as opposed to in the like stadium or in the parking lot. Because I don't know why. Probably because it's just what?
No, I literally want to know.
I don't know either. I think it's probably just because like you're thinking about it more, and like when you're there, you're not you're not thinking about it because you're immersed in the
you
actual
feel like you're
experience.
a part of
Yeah.
it. You feel like you're contributing to it
Yeah.
in some way.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like cheering on your couch contributes.
I mean, I do, but like cheering there helps the actual team.
No,
like...
okay, no, that's fine. Now we know where the battle lines are drawn, where like fandom starts and stops. If you believe that it only works within the confines of Arrowhead, or that your lucky jersey has to be worn even at home, even on your couch, you don't know if the Chiefs are going to send a drone to your house to see through the window and confirm that you were still living up to your superstitions or little stitions.
The house 3 or 2 houses down from us always puts their Casey Wolf blow-up inflatable decoration out on game days. So, I mean, that's their thing that they do.
They go all out.
They do. It's cool. Love to see it.
Well, this has been a great conversation.
It has.
People will be hearing a lot from me and Dale over the next couple days with his show dropping on Sunday. And then I'm going to be doing a full game stream just to see what it's like and see how my internet likes it and enjoys it. And then after the fact, the gang will get back together and we'll be doing our live post game following week 2, hopefully after a W this time.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a W.
So make sure to follow us and subscribe on all the listening and video platforms you care to enjoy. And make sure to like, comment, and share us everywhere you like to enjoy content of any kind. This has been the Home of the Chiefs podcast presented by Red Kingdom Media. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate. Your trusted source for all things Chiefs. Red Kingdom Media.